What's up, everybody? Welcome to the newest episode of the Debate Maze. I am Matthew, Playoff Matthew, and I'm joined with Playoff Nate.
Ayo.
And we got your Eastern Conference playoff preview for you today. And if you watched or I guess you won't have watched it, but the Western Conference video is coming out on Wednesday. Originally, we said the Eastern Conference video was going to come out on Wednesday. But then we realized that the Eastern Conference play-in happens tonight, and it would have been old news, and we could have been wrong. So if you watch tomorrow's video and I talk about a video coming out the next day, that is this video. You're watching it right now on Tuesday night. Hopefully you're watching it on Tuesday night. Make sure to like this video, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can see tomorrow's video or, Wednesday's Western Conference playoff preview. Western Conference Wednesday, as I'm now calling it here at the Debate Mates. So, Nate, let's get started with that Celtics-Wizards 7-8 matchup. Are the Beantown Boys going to pull it out?
Yes, I do think the Beantown Boys pull it out. I simply think this team, it may be injury prone, but we're still a very solid defensive team. Well, outside of Kemba Walker may be struggling quite a bit with Russell Westbrook, and the loss of Jaylen Brown hurts, but I do still think that that my Celtics do have the firepower to pull this one out. X factor is best player on the team, Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, it needs to be him. He's basically the deciding factor. If he can't step up to the plate, then maybe we don't win this play-in tournament game and we're going home. But I have a lot of faith in Tatum. I think he shows up in big moments. So I have the Boston Celtics winning, becoming the 7th seed.
Nate, I'm sorry, but it's not
going to be the Wizards.
It's not going to be the Celtics tonight. I just don't think the Celtics pull it out. The Wizards, they play fast. That's really it. They play fast. And if Robert Williams is out with turf toe, which last time I checked, he was a game time decision, and it's not game time yet, so I'm counting him as out at the moment. That is the most mobile center the Celtics have. That is the most athletic center the Celtics have. And if the Wizards play to their advantages, then they can run laps around the Celtics tonight. I'm checking right now, see what the injuries are looking like for the Celtics, see if it's been updated recently. Robert Williams, is still a game time decision with the turf toe. So with him being up in the air, I'm counting him as out. I'm taking the Wizards all day long. The Wizards like to run that 3-man center rotation of Daniel Gafford, Alex Len, and Robin Lopez. And the Celtics will be running a 3-man rotation to counter of Luke Kornet, Taco Fall, and Tristan Thompson. So I think I'm going to lean towards the Wizards centers in that scenario. And then Westbrook has been insanely good these last couple of weeks. If he had played like this all season long, he'd be in the MVP discussion. He would be a first-team All-NBA player for sure. Beal's hamstring does have me concerned a little bit. He's certainly not going to be at 100% tonight. But I don't even think they need him to be at 100%. I think the X factor is whoever starts at center for the Wizards. If they start Alex Len tonight, if they switch it up and go Daniel Gafford, because they're going to have a field day. So give me the Wizards and give me a close game too, like 2 or 3 points.
That hurts, but you do make some fair points. But I still have confidence in our boys. I think maybe even by the skin of their teeth, I think they pull this out.
Don't be surprised, though, if the Wizards get like a 15 to 16 point lead at the second quarter, because that is what the Celtics love to do. They love to get behind in those games and then they come back. So just do me a favor. Don't turn off the TV when this becomes a blowout, because I think it will. But then I think the Wizards will come crawling back, or the Celtics, will come crawling back just to give it up as a hand and break our hearts like they always do. So now that 9-10 matchup, Pacers versus Hornets. No Caris LeVert for this game. With, health and safety protocols. So, Nate, 9-10, who we got?
I think this is a pretty easy one, simply because what you just mentioned. I think as a unit, I think Charlotte has had less problems, and I do think they play better. Sabonis and Brogdon are not going to be able to win this, in my opinion. I think even I like the Hornets bench of PJ Washington, or I believe PJ Washington come off the bench. Yeah. And I like their pieces. I like Malik Monk coming off the bench, and LaMelo Ball's been great. Of course, Cody Zeller at the center is not the best. Is not what you want against Defensive Player of the Year candidate Miles Turner. But with that all being said, I just personally think the Hornets pulled this out fairly convincingly.
Nate, I'm going to disagree with you again.
Oh, wow.
I was 100% certain about this before I heard the news about Karis LeVert. Afterwards, maybe give me 70%, so not quite as sure. But I am banking on a monster 25, 12, and 15 type of game from Domantas Sabonis tonight.
Wow.
I think it's going to happen. And you were mentioning Miles Turner, he's out. So this is all going to fall on Domantas basically because Brogdon is got the hamstring problems and TJ Warren out for the season. So no Oladipo anymore as well. This is looking like a one-man band right here. And the Hornets are kind of the opposite of that. They don't really have one player that stands out against the rest. Rozier's been really good this season. LaMelo Ball's had a great rookie year. Devontae Graham's been solid. Bridges has had a great improvement this year. But give me home court advantage for the Indiana Pacers. Give me the X factor, Justin Holiday, just because he can shoot. He's a solid shooter, and I love talking about double teams in the post on these Debate Mates episodes for some reason. And I think Domantas Sabonis might draw some double teams in the post, and Justin Holiday is going to have to knock down some shots. He's going to have to defend against LaMelo Ball. He's going to have a good size advantage against Rozier, if that is a matchup too. Either way, Nate, I think you should be very happy because with LeVert not playing, I think this solidifies the Celtics as the 8th seed. At least the 8th seed, I should say.
Oh, so you're taking – so you basically just said if the Pacers win this, you have the Celtics. You have taken the Celtics over the Pacers.
I don't think it matters who wins the 9-10 matchup. I think the Celtics win the 7-10.
So you do think the Celtics are making the playoffs?
I think the Celtics will still make the playoffs.
Well, as for mine, I would take – so it's going to be Charlotte and Wizards, and I'm going to take the Wizards. There's who's going to stop freaking Russell Westbrook on that Hornets team? Nobody. That man's going to play insane, and I know he does fairly well in the playoffs. So yeah, I think it's pretty convincing that I do think it's going to be the Wizards at the 8th seed.
All right, so moving on to the 1-8 matchup. For me, I got 76ers Celtics, and because I'm talking about the Celtics, I'll get us started. Nate, I think the Celtics are going to administer some revenge in this series if it does happen. Give me a sweep, honestly. This is the only sweep I'm predicting in these playoffs. And I just think it's inevitable. The Celtics have no one that can defend Joel Embiid. Robert Williams is one body they can throw at him. Robert Williams loves to foul. Joel Embiid loves to draw fouls. That's a horrible matchup for the Celtics. Tristan Thompson is not nearly as young or spry as he used to be. Advantage 76ers. Luke Cornett, advantage 76ers. Taco Fall, advantage 76ers. Ben Simmons has major size over anybody on the Celtics, basically aside from Jason Tatum. And if you're wasting Tatum on Ben Simmons, then who's guarding Tobias Harris? Not Kemba. I guess Marcus Smart, but I like the size of Tobias Harris over Marcus Smart. And then if this series does go where the 76ers get up 2-0, Marcus Smart could implode. The locker room could implode. Give me 76ers in a pretty convincing manner, maybe like 9 to 12 point games as well in all these games. I don't think it'll be particularly close. X factor, basically the Celtics' lack of a center, if that counts as an X factor, I don't know. But that will be the deciding factor in this series, which will be
if my matchup was 76ers Celtics, I'd also have a sweep.
Oh, wow.
I love my Celtics. The play-in games are really the only games I see the Celtics winning. So I think it's sad to say, but I do think it's time to. I've already started mentally preparing myself for next season. But now I have another sweep though. I have Sixers sweeping the Wizards instead of the Celtics. I just think Sixers. I just think the Sixers, to me, are the best team in the East. I said it. I think they're the best team in the East. They've got defense. They've got shooting, something they didn't have last year, and they've improved heavily between Danny Green and Seth Curry. Shake Milton has become a stud. Matisse Thybulle has always been a stud, even though it's only his second year. I think Ben Simmons could pretty much lock up Westbrook. And the X factor is Joel Embiid, who's in the Wizards team. Who on most of these teams is stopping Joel Embiid? So I have the Sixers pretty convincingly sweeping the Wizards as you have them sweeping the Celtics.
All right, moving on. I have Nets Wizards. You have Nets Celtics. Since you got the Beantown Boys in this series, you can start us off.
Yeah, it's another sweep.
Oh.
Katie, Kyrie, and Harden, and even Blake Griffin's been showing off, which is good for him. He really just wanted to get out of Detroit badly. They have the nice little stud I like a lot, Nicholas Claxton. So yeah, the Celtics can't match up with basically anybody. It's Tatum on an island out there by himself versus three of the best players in the freaking NBA. So
Well, Nate, I
yeah,
have a quick trivia for you. Speaking of these Nets,
I have a pretty convincing sweep against the Celtics.
All right, I have a little quick trivia question for you about the Brooklyn Nets.
Okay.
Who was their second leading scorer in terms of total points this season?
In terms of total points?
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. I feel like you're trying to throw a trick question in there because it may not be one of the three. Or it could be, and I'm just overthinking it. With total points, I don't know. I'm going to throw out a weird guess. Is it like DeAndre Jordan?
First is Kyrie Irving. Second is Joe Harris.
Oh, my goodness. I forgot about Joe Harris. Oh, wow. Goodness gracious, Joe Harris is a stud, isn't he? I've totally forgot to talk about Joe Harris. Let's add Joe Harris onto the reasons why Celtics are getting swept. Oh, God, yes. This is just a messy one. Either matchup Celtics face is just, oh God, it's going to be a depressing one.
All right, so for me, I got Nets Wizards. The Oklahoma City Thunder reunion. Kevin Durant, Jeff Green, and James Harden versus Russell Westbrook and Scott Brooks. So it would be a fun series for an OG Oklahoma City Thunder fan like myself. Back in my past life when Kevin Durant played for the Thunder. If this series does happen, number one, it would be incredible. It would be insane. It would be prime time every matchup. Even if the Nets blow them out, it would still be must watch for that KD Westbrook drama.
Yeah.
I would take Nets in 5 just because the Wizards have played very well against the Nets so far this season. Bradley Beal's hamstring is a concern for me, like I said earlier. But Westbrook is good enough to win one game. That being said, Westbrook is also bad enough potentially to shoot them out of the other 4, especially if Beal is not at 100% and therefore more offensive responsibility lies on Westbrook. He might see the need to shoot 20 to 25 shots, in which case the Wizards would just shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
I mean, Nets in 5. We'll have a classic Westbrook game, and that'll be all they got, I think. And X factor for that series for the Nets, probably Bruce Brown. I'm going to go with because he will be the primary defender of either Westbrook or Bradley Beal. Probably spend some time on both of them, especially if Beal is hampered with a hamstring injury. If he can keep him in check, if he can make it hard for Beal, make Beal have to use all that explosiveness, all that strength in his hamstring on offense, then he's going to be tired. He's going to be struggling down the stretch, and these games could get close. So if Bruce Brown can kind of neutralize them, I think Nets have a huge advantage.
Okay, yeah. I would agree with you on that one, yeah.
Moving on to the spiciest playoff matchup. No contest. Bucks versus Heat, the rematch of the 5-game gentleman sweep last year. You started the last one. I'll start this one. This one is an interesting one. I think a lot of people will pick the Heat in this series. However, I'm not one of those people. I'm taking the Bucks in 6, and I am saying that the X Factor, I'm going to pull Nathan Poplin, and I'm going to go with say the X Factor is going to be one of the best players. I'm saying the X Factor is Sir Giannis Antetokounmpo, the best player on the Milwaukee Bucks by far. I think that he's going to come in with a newfound anger, a newfound rage in this postseason. The Bucks have flown under the radar. Let's be honest, they're playing for Mike Budenholzer's job. If they go out in the first round, then it's curtains for him. And possibly curtains for Chris Middleton on the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know if they would get that drastic after just signing Drew Holiday to a max or close to a max extension, but it would all be in the cards. And of course, Giannis signed the max extension before the series or the season started, so there's not that looming over them as well. So not quite as much pressure. There won't be as much media attention on it because it's not like if they lose, is Giannis out? He's staying. Drew is staying. So I think they go in with a little more of a carefree attitude than in the past. I think Drew Holiday makes a huge difference. He's someone that they can throw at Jimmy Butler, slow down Goran Dragic, and kind of take him out of the game, take a guy like Hero out of the game. The Bucks are just an incredible team, and I would be shocked if they don't beat the Heat this year.
Yeah, I feel like many people would find that controversial. That being said, though, I agree with you. I do think Milwaukee takes the series. I think Milwaukee is better than they were last year, and I think the Heat are worse than they were last year. I think the X factor for this game is going to come down to Drew Holiday. I think he's going to clamp that backcourt, whoever it may be, Hero or Chris Dunn or Dragic. I think Drew Holiday is going to ball out, gives much needed scoring, but also some much needed backcourt defense. I have it being close, though. I have it being a seventh game, and these two teams, similar to the Celtics and Sixers, always seem to find each other in the playoffs, don't they?
Yeah.
But they're always exciting matchups. So in 7 games, I'm going to have Milwaukee beating Miami.
And here's the other thing about the Bucks is this is fourth series where Giannis knows going into the series, or at least has an idea that the wall will be built. It's not like against the Raptors where it caught him off guard. It's not like against the Heat where he had never seen it executed that way before. He knows going into the series what the Heat strategy is, and he needs to make quick decisions when he has the ball. If he can pass it quickly, if he can make good, quick decisions, then he won't be trapped in that situation where he's getting double teamed with nothing to do, nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. So he's got to he can't be holding the ball. He can't be dominating the ball as much as he does in most matchups. He's going to have to find his shooters quickly. And if he can do that, if he can exploit that defense, then the Heat will be in a lot of trouble. And I think he's a smart enough player that he knows after 3 series, 20-ish games of seeing this defense against him, I think he knows how to read it, and I think he'll dominate. So give me the Bucks in 6. You got Bucks in 7. Mm-hmm. Let's move on to the final Eastern Conference series, the NBA TV series, the Knicks and the Hawks at Madison Square Garden.
A series that no one saw coming. I don't think anyone saw either of these teams in the playoffs, let alone playing each other in the playoffs.
You know what's crazy, Nathan? but this is insane to think about. One of the Bucks and Heat will not make it to the second round. One of Giannis Antetokounmpo or the reigning Eastern Conference champion will not make it to the second round. However, one of the Knicks or Atlanta Hawks will.
Yep, it's an interesting playoffs, but I'm here for it. I'm excited.
So who you taking, Nate?
I think it's pretty easy. You're in Madison Square Garden, and I just think that Atlanta's been playing great, but I think Julius Randle's playing out of his mind. Derrick Rose, Emmanuel quickly has become one of the more unforeseen. One of the picks I didn't see him being as good as he is, but man, has he been a stud. But I think the X factor in this one is Julius Randle. I have the Knicks winning in 6. I think I just personally, it really just comes down to I think the Knicks have more slightly more firepower than the Hawks off the bench. Hawks, you got Bogdanovich and you got Trae Young and Capella and Okongwu. I don't know. Both teams are very good. I just personally, in my opinion, have the Knicks winning it in 6.
I'll take Knicks in 7.
Okay.
I have a couple questions that go into this series. One, how do the refs officiate Trae Young? Do we get is he going to get the calls that he gets in the regular season where he likes to go around a screen and stop and have defenders launch into him because he just stops on a dime? Will the refs still give him that call? or will they know it's playoff basketball? We don't want to see Trae Young shoot 20 free throws. So that will be interesting because if he's not getting those calls, he'll get frustrated and he'll give it all back on defense. So that is one thing to look at. Second thing, I have my eye on Nerlens Noel this series for the New York Knicks because Clint Capella will get his on the glass against basically any team in the league. Nerlens Noel is really the Knicks' only chance to neutralize him a little bit. He's gonna sorry about that, but Clint Capella, if they can keep him off the glass, if Nerlens Noel can be there just to deter those alley-oops that Trae Young loves to throw him, then that takes away one of the Hawks' biggest offensive threats, which is that pick and roll. So I got my eye on him this series. Obviously, it'll be insane to watch the first series basically since I've been an NBA fan at Madison Square Garden. That's crazy to think about. So I'll take Knicks in 7. It'll probably be one of those series where Knicks win the first 2 at home, Hawks win the next 2 at home, Knicks win at home, Hawks win at home, Knicks win at home.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, Knicks in 7, and you got?
I got Knicks in 6.
All right, nice. So I think we can call it there. We got through these pretty quickly. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Hopefully we get these right. And we'll see you guys next time on the Debate Mates.